Alright, hey everyone, my name is Sammy and welcome to my Stream Theory playthrough of Dark Souls, where I will try to criticize and analyze the game live as I make my way through it. And yeah, let's just get on to the next boss, which is exactly what I was doing in the last part before I ran out of time. Yeah, I got a bit into that boss. Was the Witch of Isolate before I had to stop. So yeah, with this boss, because of the nature of that boss, it's kind of a puzzle boss, as they say. It's different from the other bosses. There are basically two puzzle bosses. We saw one in an earlier part in my playthrough, and that was the Ceaseless Discharge, where you pretty much had to figure out a specific way, or actually, there are multiple ways of killing it, but largely does not focus around a straight-up fight. More or less, you have to fight it in a way as given by the level design. But when we get into the boss, I will talk more about how it is, like, this Witch of Isolate is a puzzle boss. But while I'm fighting these guys, let me try and load up the chat. It takes a minute for it to show up in the Twitch app. Okay, let's see if it's working here. Another thing I did before I started the stream, like took about a half hour to 45 minutes, was I killed all of those demons in that Isolith lava place down there, the ruins. Those two-legged demon things. Just to farm some souls to then put into upgrades for my armor. I'm not sure if I'll switch that armor just yet. It's the Valka set that I really like the look of. I'll probably end up putting that once I have them all fully upgraded. Alright, let's do kill these guys here, and then do a quick sound check, make sure everything's working. Yeah, okay. Seems to be fine. Now, another thing I might want to do before I head right into the boss room is check out this area a little bit more. I was rushing through this area before, in the last part, because I just wanted to get straight to the boss, so I didn't really do everything, check out everything, collect all the items. So I think I'll do that a little bit beforehand before I delve right into the Isolith boss. So there's more to this area, as you can see here. I skipped behind. The boss is over this way, through there. So let's do a little bit of exploring for now. Another one of these weird enemies. And we have a chest. Now, always check for mixed. Pretty much for the rest of the game, we can be checking for mixed. Naturally, in this area we find pyromancy, as this is the former, as far as the lore goes, this is like the former home of the pyromancers before big accident happened and turned them all into these hideous creatures. That's why a lot of these, I think that's why a lot of these creatures breathe fire. Like we saw in the swamp area, those bug things were breathing fire. And also these sort of statue creatures breathe fire as well. I think they're either like mutated pyromancers, or they are creations of the pyromancers. No, but that's just interpretation of the lore. As far as the game goes, like, we've seen these guys a lot, and by now they are pretty much pushovers. go. Now what I'm looking for are just any items I might have missed before heading right into the boss room. I figure there are some around here somewhere. And also another thing I might want to look at is the shortcut, which I already opened, but I did not approach it from the other direction. Oh, here, that looks enticing, right? So, but I already know what this is. This is like, I mean, anyone who's played this game up until now should think this smells really fishy, right? This item in the middle of the room here smells a lot like a trap. So do I want to delve head on into it right now? Probably not. But we'll deal with that later. Let's look at that shortcut for a bit. Let's check one more time for items. Alright, so this is the way you approach the shortcut from the other side, and if you don't do the covenant with the Daughter of Chaos, this is the way you normally approach this shortcut here. And as you can see, we're actually above the like the lava ruins we saw before. Like the bonfire is over that way, it's like straight ahead in that building. So we actually made our way all the way from that direction here. Okay, so another one of these Titanite demons. I don't know if I should tackle this guy right now or just head straight for the shortcut. Like this area here is a little constrained here, so it's like a big risk to fight him. Yeah, I don't necessarily need to fight him now, and besides, I'm pretty sure this one is the one that actually respawns. He doesn't, unlike the other Titanite demons, this guy will respawn, and he's like a good way to farm certain items that the Titanite demons drop. So I'm not really sure I care about him all that much. Alright, so more in our chat. Just hug the left wall as you walk into the trap. You'll fall on the branch. Yeah, that's a good tip. If you already know about the trap, I guess that's one way to approach it. See if I can get this crystal lizard. I don't know. No? Yes, okay, let's see. Come on, don't disappear on me. Missed it the first time around. Twinkling Titanite, oh good, I can use that for my my armor set. Alright, so because I already unlocked this before, so we see good old Solaire is waiting here. Thankfully he is not crazy at this point.
Have I done this all for nothing? Oh, my dear son. What now? What should I do? My son. My dear son.
Isn't he such a great character? I don't know, I really like him. Everybody likes him. So, as I discussed before, when I first unlocked this shortcut and killed the sunlight maggot over here, if he finds that, I mean, well, even when talking with him right now, like, you can see that his mental state is not very stable. So he's very susceptible to being turned, you know, turned hollow, as they say in this world. But thankfully, he can continue on with his mind intact from this point, and he will not go crazy and attack us. And we can spare him. Does he say anything else here?
Was it all a lie? Oh,
no, he doesn't.
My.
Okay, so I think with this in mind, now that I've come at this shortcut from the other direction, I will I think I want to use the Daughter of Chaos as the main main hub bonfire to approaching this boss, because if I use the Daughter of Chaos bonfire, then I actually avoid having to keep the lava ring equipped. I can, you know, put a different ring on if I want. Not that it's all that relevant, you know, for fighting the Witch of Izalith, but I don't. It's something I don't really need at this point. I can leave the lava behind now that I've collected everything, and go back to using my standard ring. So yeah, pardon me while I head back up here very quickly. And also, I also can have 10 flasks without kindling with the Daughter of Chaos bonfire. That's already pre-kindled because it's protected by a Firekeeper. Do I want to cash this 10,000 souls? It's probably not. It's not. At this point, it's not really that much. So I'll rest here to make sure that if I die, I will respawn back here. Then I can just take this shortcut down, and I'll make my way to the boss that way. Do I want to deal with that trap room before or after the boss? Probably before, because I know that the boss, once I defeat her, it leads to like sort of a dead end. That's the other way. And I could get back, but I would have to run at it the long way. So let's deal with that obvious trap area first. So I guess Solaire here, I wonder if he stays here the entire time we're fighting the boss. Probably. Or does he just wait for us to talk to him before he moves? Oh, I see him in the distance. He's going to stay here. And then I guess once I fight the boss and beat her, that's when he'll continue on with his own quest. We're sort of along parallel trajectories and basically doing the same thing for different motivations. So that's why he's been popping up all along our path here. Let's go to Solaire. This area is actually a really nice view if you don't kill all the creatures here, because then you can see all of them still alive down there, because the draw distance in this game is really large. You can see very far away, so you'd be able to see all of the creatures throughout this room, still alive, just chilling down there. So it's just a technical feat of this game that I can't really show anyway. But yeah, I don't really care about this Titanite Demon. Just want to make sure I don't get hit. So let's deal with that trap first. Should be some loot in there, some final bits of loot before I continue on. Okay. Alright. So what I can do, since I know this is a trap, I can hug the wall, get at it. Yeah, there, I activated it. The item actually falls below here. So if you just rush in and you don't know about the trap, you'll probably fall into those, like, the mouths of those creatures. But since there are more soul items, it could be souls, but I'm not really entirely sure what items are in here. what I want to do is just collect them all. Just for the sake of being a completionist, I guess. So if I like fell down there, I'd have to go approach this area the hard way, essentially. So this is, I guess, the way to do it more easily. Alright, so I'm sure that this area will actually... Yeah, I need a different ring for this one. Rusted iron ring would help here. Right, equipment. Also have to approach this area. It seems to poison me, so I'm gonna have to approach it with some moss. Let's see. Should have a decent amount. I can also just let myself get poisoned and take some damage. Alright, so these creatures aren't too smart, so they'll actually fall into these holes. If all you do is just lead them to it. I think that the way this area is designed is just to cause you to panic, and then, like, these holes are meant for you to fall into, rather than the creatures. But if you already know what's going on, you can just work the system, I guess. So you gotta be careful. We don't want to get any of that mist on you. Alright, is everything clear here? Yeah, this is the nature of the game. If you can cheese it, then go right ahead. Like, that's, pretty sure cheesing is totally an acceptable way to deal with some of the game's challenges, so I think that's just... I think the way the game is designed is so that cheesing is an option for you. Okay, so those were some items there. I believe there's one more up there somewhere, so I can go and get that one. Okay, so moss clump. And heal. As far as souls, like this, I guess this isn't really all that much. Or I didn't really earn that much souls from those creatures. Yeah, I see an item over there, so I drop down over here. Oh, there's one more of those creatures. I think I missed something. Yeah, there must be another way up there that I missed. I feel like Bloodborne requires cheesing in a few spots. I both like it and I don't, says Morinar in chat. Yeah, that's good to hear. I don't know, it's just... It seems like just the way the game works sometimes, like the way that some of the challenges are balanced is by the fact that you can stumble upon a way to cheese them. Or at least that's the way it works here. Do I have to, like, jump across? Is that what I have to do? I'm not sure. I remember exactly how to do it. How to get up here. I'm not entirely sure. Nick, is that how I do it? I just have to jump across, or is there another way up here that I just totally missed? I feel like I should know this, but I don't quite remember exactly how this come up from the bottom. Okay. Let me see if I can see that from here. Like normally I would be able to see away from the bottom. Well, let me try to get a good vantage point. Let's see how to get up there. Okay, I think I see. I think I see it. Alright, yeah, so I'm approaching it wrong. I'll just come back. Do these break? Is that what it is? No. Oh, do I have to, It seems a little obvious, but I'm trying to actually remember. It probably seems just dumb. Let me see. Okay, I think that's more stuff here. Right. Fairly easy to miss this stuff because, yeah, okay, I see another one. I see a chest down here. Okay, now the mimic. Titanite slab. Alright, so I'm not making any fire weapons, so I guess that's gonna be fed to good old Kingseeker over here. Oh, it's very easy to get turned around right here. Which way was it? Okay. I'm kinda turned around. That's a dead end. Alright, this is the other side of that, right, okay. This is the benefit of playing a game when, or playing a game you've played before after a very long time, because essentially it does feel like new. Some stuff that I have to rediscover. And now this guy decides to drop down. Alright, so let's go ahead and take care of this thing. And do I want to approach this from the long way or the... I think no matter what I do, I have to drop down again. Alright, so that's a decent run, I would say. Decent item run. You could probably, even if you don't need those items, you can always just get a ton of souls out of them. Decent amount of souls, or breaking them down into other types of Titanite. Okay, so let's get to that boss now. No more dilly-dallying. Let's head straight there to the excitement. Almost considered boning home there, but I don't know. Those take a long time and probably not worth it. Alright, so we already saw it before. We already saw the Witch of Izalith before, but let's check out this puzzle boss once again and hopefully finish it today. Right, okay, so it's over that way. And once we see it, I will try and break it down a little bit more. So I actually already did one part of it. We'll go down and we'll see, like, one part is finished. So basically with this boss, you can't damage it directly as you can a normal boss. It's just, if you try to get close to it, it either sweeps you or you just can't do a lot of damage to it. So what you need to do is just figure out the proper way, the actual method to do it. And the reason why a lot of people don't like this boss is that it requires a lot of like platforming and stuff like that. So I would have to make that jump instead of rolling, and then I would be able to continue from there. So there is just like a silly thing like a missed button press, or an improper press of the button where I rolled instead of running. All of a sudden I have to start over, or start from that same place. So I have to remember it's the other way. Basically, I just have to figure out that trick of doing this boss, and it has nothing to do with like actually doing direct damage to it. It's just there are these two spheres that you have to attack, and that every time you each step of damaging those one sphere, then the next sphere, that's you trigger the next step of the boss, the next level of that boss. So essentially, it is basically a puzzle. It's not a true boss battle, and that's why like a lot of people pick this one as one of the least favorite boss battles in the game. It's very straightforward. There's really not much actually to say about it. It's just you have to figure out the one weird trick to do it, and then you just do it. And then after that, it's just a matter of execution. I mean, it's not really like with other enemies and bosses in this game. It's like you have a learning process. You have to observe the boss, observe the enemy, and then try to adapt to it. It's yeah, it's a much more interesting dynamic that way. Whereas with this boss, it's just you figure the one gimmick to defeat it, and then after that, it's just a matter of platforming. Of course, there's just like some things like platforming in a game like this, where the jumps are just kind of awkward, and to begin with, platforming to a weird gimmick puzzle thing just makes it even worse. So it's probably the largest sour note in this game. But is it enough to like ruin the game? Nah, I definitely say it isn't. You know, every game has. Oh wow, already dead. Just that's the nature of this boss. It's actually kind of funny. So I really should be paying attention more. I have to keep making these long trips. It doesn't help that no matter which bonfire you, much shorter run from the other bonfire. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Move my mic. Yeah, I'm thinking that's the case at this point. Now that I actually have a chance to compare the runs, I think you're totally right that it is a shorter run from the other one. But then I have to equip that ring, and every time I run on the lava, my equipment degrades a little bit. I don't know, it's a trade-off. This one you don't really have to even think all that much. All I need to do is just not make any like really dumb mistakes. Like if I died due to like direct damage from the boss, that would make a lot more sense. But being kicked off a ledge like that is just really dumb of me. Alright. Also helps not being killed by that. That Titanite Demon is definitely stronger than the other ones. Like the other Titanite Demons did not do that much damage to me. The same equipment. Even at that point, like this armor set wasn't upgraded that much when I was facing the other Titanite Demons. So this one's like a super powered one. Retrieval! Alright, so take it cautiously, patiently observe what the boss is doing. Try to time it right. Alright, so the swoop happened. Oh man, I thought I landed on top of the thing, but it's just like I kept sliding one more inch and then I fell off. Jeez. Plus the window of opportunity between those sweeps is very small. Okay, I think what I want to do is let's see. First of all, I don't need this ring. Right, next is the other bonfire is much faster. Getting to it now is actually will take some time because I can't just warp to that bonfire, right? So I would actually have to go that way and approach it from, the long way. I could also get to it from here. Either way is pretty long, so in the interest of the stream, I think I'll make that one long trip to reduce the runs to this boss. Normally, when I'm not streaming, I would just take this direction, this shortcut, because I'm not too concerned about taking a long walk. It just seems better to use that bonfire because you don't have to invest anything to kindle it. I mean, not that you need 10 flasks for this battle anyway. Alright, well, I just need to not die to this thing right now. As with other bosses, my actual commentary is gonna wane a little thin because really not too much to say. I already pretty much wrapped up everything I need to say about that boss, and now it's just like actually doing it. So I could have headed back that way from a different, or like from above. I suppose that's one way to do it. When you approach from this direction, you see exactly how many of those creatures there are. Quite a lot. This thing needs to get out of the way so I can get onto this thing. back up, and then down. Alright, so one long trip to use this bonfire, because according to Nick in chat, this run is slightly shorter, so it seems like with this boss I'm just going to be dying to a lot of stupid things. Anyway, so the shorter the run, the better. I am slightly concerned about this armor taking damage every time I go in the lava, and then taking hits from the boss, of course. It's another way. So I'm concerned about it breaking, but since I'm going to be switching armor anyway, it's like not all that important to me at this point. Oh yeah, this run does seem a little shorter. I just had to be reminded of that fact, like when I thought shortcut to Izalith, like that made me automatically think that it was a shorter run to the boss. But now that I've done it both ways, this one does seem to be a little bit faster. Alright, here we go. Take your bets as to what I'm going to die to this time. Alright. Retrieval! Do I just want to make this run right now, or... I guess the key is I have to wait for at least one of those swings before I continue forward. You have to think, why would they develop a boss like this when there are so many amazing bosses in this game? A lot of bosses with like really interesting maneuvers. Bosses, you know, that change as the fight progresses, and they change up their tactics as you go forward. So you have to like readapt to them as you go on. And then this one is just like a straightforward type of deal. Something that is not actually all that fun to do. I think, I guess my theory is that it's due to variety. They want to throw in something that takes a completely different tactic to approach. So that's not necessarily a bad thing that they're going for variety. But I think this is just a case where you make a risk that, you know, something different will improve or add to the game. And this is just a case where, you know, the risk does not pay off. They say big risk, big reward, but only if that risk actually pays off. If the risk fails, then you get something not that great. So you can commend them for taking the risk in the first place, but concerned about getting killed by that. Alright, so make another sweep. So I can run. They knew I would use this as a safe haven. Oh man, I just slid off. If I was only out to the left by like 1 inch, I'd be... Okay. whenever I see something similar in a game like this, I see a game make a risk, and you know the developers put a lot into it. That they probably knew it was a risk, and they weren't sure how it would come across. I always say that it is right to commend developers and the game for making that risk, but ultimately you do have to call it out as bad or good, depending on how that risk falls. The fact that they're willing to take risks does not excuse it for being bad, right? You don't give it a pass. You don't give it a pass just because it's taking a risk. Trying for variety, different things. So you call things out when they're bad, no matter what. But you also call things out when developers don't take enough risks, when they play it safe too often. With that said, Dark Souls does, in other areas of the game, does take a lot of risks in different ways, and they pay off handsomely. So this is just a case where just one part of the game that's really annoying, and the risks did not pay off. The risks tried to be different with a boss. Add variety did not pay off. And that's, considering the rest of the game, that's probably okay. Okay, so he swung once. And he's going to swing again here. Oh! I wanted to get the retrieval. And press the wrong button. Okay, well that one's on me. That was my fault. Another misclick. That just happens. Oh well. Yet another run. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to get this boss out of the way. This lord, do this lord first, because I want to save the best for last, and the other ones are definitely better than this one. So get this one done and over with, and then we can see the better stuff. Now, not necessarily saying that all the bosses are super fantastic. There are like the amazing bosses in this game, and then there are, there's clearly a range of stuff. This one's on the bottom of the range. Yeah, this run is definitely faster. I remember now. So I'm glad I made that one trip back to the Izalith bonfire. Make these runs a little bit more tolerable. Okay. Don't just kill yourself this time. Okay. Retrieval! Okay, he's going to swing at me now. Alright, so I guess I want to wait for another one. There's the second one. At least I didn't fall off. And now I fell off. Yeah, that is tricky. There's not really any. Sometimes there's just not much you can do. Whew, okay. I would say that this Witch of Izalith is both the toughest and the easiest to defeat as far as execution. Like, if you know what you're doing and you just have the timing down pat, then this is probably the easiest boss in the game. The trick is, like, because you have to make these long runs to the Izalith boss, it's hard to actually get that muscle memory in. Unless you're like a speedrunner of the game and you've played the game dozens of times, so you've learned how to do the boss that way. But you know, playing it normally, it's hard to build that muscle memory. Kind of wish there was a bonfire for this one boss, like this one puzzle boss, because it's a gimmick puzzle boss. I'd say this one is the one where there should be a bonfire right outside, if anything. It's because you have to learn that muscle memory. It has like nothing to do with actually fighting the boss head on. Any delay in trying to build the muscle memory and approaching just makes the gimmick worse. Okay, so I'll wait for this swipe, wait for that swipe. Retrieval, and I make it over here first. Okay, finally made it over to the second sphere here. And just attack this thing. There we go. Second part completed finally after a lot of BS pitfalls. 2/3 of the way there. So as you can see with this boss, the health meter on the bottom is just like a total facade, right there. As we're progressing here, the health meter, nothing's actually happening to it because we're not fighting the boss directly. Okay, let's make sure I don't get hit by these pillars of fire. Alright, I need to make this jump. I need to make that jump. And that wasn't a jump, that was roll, so I died. But fortunately that means I spawn back at the bonfire and I don't have to make those jumps again. I can just approach it from the front. And I am not sorry about missing those platforming challenges, because platforming in this game is not really a thing that's all that great. And when you make a boss, that's like one of the main facets is the platforming. It's just not. Just adds a lot. It just makes everything worse. So I don't know if you can tell, but I don't really like this boss. Pretty obvious at this point, I think. Compared to the ceaseless discharge, like that, yeah, I would take that one any time of the day, because at least with that one there is a way to approach it where you can fight it head on, and it's really difficult to do it that way, but it is possible. You don't have to use like an exploit built into the level. There are actually 2 different exploits for that boss built into the level that you can choose to use, but at least there is a way to do it head on. This one, no, there is just one specific way you have to do it. And I guess the only choice as far as approaching it is, do you take the left sphere first or do you take the right sphere first? Alright, so gotta wait for that swipe. It's a little ridiculous as far as the reach. Another swipe. And with this one, there's like even more bullshit here, because like, okay, you finally made it past the swipes, and then you'll see really soon. Timing on this is like really tough. finally make it past the swipes, and then the floor falls through, and you have to like kind of make yet another jump. And it seems like, oh, you can just approach it straight on, right? But there's yet another trick as far as getting at it. And yeah, that's, you'll see as when I make it back here for yet another time. But I think the pain is almost over. We can put this behind us, this low moment in the game behind us, and we can get onto some of the better stuff. Actually, I think the best is yet to come. Some of the best stuff is actually coming up in later bosses. If I want to say right now, I would say besides Ornstein and Smo, which we've already seen, the DLC extra area is probably my favorite in the entire game. All those Lucille and all of the enemies there are just so well done. It's a shame that it was all put into DLC. I guess that's discussion for another time when I actually get to Lucille. So here's another attempt, hopefully the last one. I don't have to deal with it anymore. Yeah, I spent way too much time in this area as it is. Kind of wish I would have been able to do this in the last parts if I had more time, and then move on to like another area today. Okay, so more pyromancy. Alright, swipe, and do I have